Ancient Romans used a shared sea sponge on a stick for public toilet purposes, leaving a trail of mystery and unsanitary conditions. As we delve deeper into the daily lives of ancient Romans, we find ourselves entangled in a web of contradictions. Their engineering feats, such as the construction of aqueducts and concrete structures, would be the envy of modern civilizations. However, their approach to personal hygiene left much to be desired. The Xylospongium, a wooden stick with a sea sponge attached, was the primary tool for personal cleaning in public latrines. Imagine using a sponge that had been used by countless individuals before you, then rinsing it in a bucket of vinegar before leaving it for the next person. It's hard to comprehend how the Romans could have tolerated such an unhygienic practice. Despite the lack of understanding about germs and the consequences of unsanitary conditions, the Romans were surprisingly aware of the importance of cleanliness. They were known to bathe frequently and employed various methods to keep themselves clean. The Roman poet Ovid even wrote about the need to wash one's hands before and after eating. However, when it came to public latrines, the Romans seemed to abandon all caution. The Xylospongium was a standard feature in these facilities, and it's not hard to imagine the conditions that must have arisen from its use. One can only shudder at the thought of a sponge being passed from person to person, each leaving their own unique microbial signature. Perhaps the most striking example of the Romans' disregard for hygiene in public latrines is the case of the Roman Emperor Hadrian. During his reign in the 2nd century AD, Hadrian oversaw the construction of a vast network of public latrines throughout the empire. While these facilities were no doubt an improvement over previous arrangements, they still relied on the Xylospongium as the primary tool for personal cleaning. It's worth noting that Hadrian's latrines were a significant innovation in terms of design and functionality. They were often equipped with running water, which allowed users to rinse their Xylospongia after each use. However, even this improvement could not compensate for the fundamental flaw in the system. In the end, it's difficult to avoid the conclusion that the Romans were either oblivious to the risks associated with communal sponge use or that they simply didn't care. Their focus on more pressing concerns, such as military conquest and economic development, may have blinded them to the importance of personal hygiene. One cannot help but wonder how the Romans managed to avoid the kinds of outbreaks that one might expect from such unsanitary conditions. Perhaps it was simply a matter of chance, or perhaps the Romans were able to develop some sort of immunity to the diseases that their practices must have encouraged. Regardless of the explanation, it's clear that the Xylospongium was a relic of a bygone era, a reminder of the limitations of ancient knowledge and the importance of prioritizing personal hygiene. As we look back on the Roman Empire's legacy, we can't help but be struck by the contradictions that defined their daily lives. They were capable of greatness, yet flawed in their approach to the most basic aspects of human existence. The takeaway from this strange and fascinating practice is that even the most advanced civilizations can be blind to the consequences of their actions. As we strive to create a better world for ourselves and future generations, we would do well to remember the lessons of the Xylospongium, that even the smallest things can have a profound impact on our collective well-being.